Buenas tardes. My name is Victor Pujals, and I had the honor of chairing the same event last year. So knowing what that's like, I'd like to take a minute to thank Jose Enrique Cueto and Cristina Ortega for the great job they've done this year. You that have experienced this process, you know that this was not just coming together today. This process began back in October. It's a very meticulous process, and we do it that way because that's the way we have to go after and win jobs in the private sector. You have to submit your qualifications, you get ranked. Once you get ranked, you got to eventually go through the presentations, and ultimately you'll see where you ended up. And the same relief that you felt today after you finish your presentation is the relief we felt. And now comes the anxiety about who wins, which we have to go through that same process. So this has got multiple purposes. One of this is to prepare you for real life. I would ask, given the opportunity to share some random thoughts with you, and they are random thoughts. So the second thought I had is Dr. Miguel Morales, is he here? Dr. Miguel Morales, would you please come up? Dr. Morales last year mentored the UF team, and they had a winning entry last year. He's done that this year, and he brought 2 teams from Gainesville. There's enough Gators here and a few non-Gators that thank Miguel so much for his work that this is to help you make it all the way to Miami, and maybe someday you'll sponsor us up there. But there's a few of us like Rafael Robaina, Rod Rodriguez, Dr. Armando Perez, and other Gators that contributed so that you guys can come again, and we'll be happy to tell us what you need, and we'll make it happen. So thank you for not only that, sponsoring the team, like Armando also mentored Dr. Chin's team. So we like that concept that we have people in the industry helping out with what you're doing. So thank you so much, Miguel.
Thank you so much. I'm not quite a doctor yet, so about a year, hopefully. So thanks.
Well, when I worked in Colombia, I was not a doctor, but I was called the doctor. So. The third random thought is I was always taught as a speaker, never stand between your audience and lunch. In this case, I'm standing between you and the awards, so I'll try to be brief. One Belt gave an idea of how we started the infrastructure committee. We actually started the water and wastewater infrastructure committee between our 2 societies, the Civil Engineering Cuban Society and the engineering, all the engineers and general engineers in the Cuban Society. There's the other aspect is how did we start the student aspect of things? And the student aspect started with Dr. Elena Solo Gabriel with UM, and the 2 co-chairs today, Jose Enrique and Cristina, were part of that, and they competed not in a challenge like this, but Jose Enrique and another fellow named Omar from Panama began a inventory of all the water and wastewater infrastructure in Cuba. Cristina, if I'm not mistaken, they did a study about a wastewater treatment plant. And to me, what was so impressive was that being so remote from Cuba, they were able to get so much information, whether it was Google Maps or whether it was this. Cristina sent her parents undercover and took pictures of this pump station in Cuba. The creativity and the initiative that they showed, we saw it again here today, and I'm very moved by it. It was very impressive. So what I want to say to you is, and I wrote it down trying to make sure that I said it more or less correctly, and now I can't find it, but basically is that this investment that you've made today in getting to this point, I hope it's as rewarding to you as it was for them in their career. They've only been out in their professional life about 3 or 4 years. And the biggest thing as a parent that I can say that was rewarding to them, they ended up with a job. So they're both working for very good firms. I hope that the investment you've made will lead to you getting a nice job someday so that you can gain the benefits of your investment. I want to get back to Juan Belt, and somebody picked it up. One Belt did inspire us. And today he said something that really grabbed me. He said, we were thinking of having this conference in Washington, but the interest is on human rights, not on infrastructure. And that grabbed me, because I think this is about human rights. Except what he was talking about is that in Washington, they're interested in the human rights abuse. And I don't want to take anything away from the courageous Cubans in Cuba, and mainly that are going what they're going to hopefully have democracy. But this is about enhancing human rights. And I hope that we can someday transcend from human rights abuse to enhancing human rights abuse. And the parallel that I saw was, we could not do this in Washington because the interest, what stood in the way was human rights abuse. And what we're proposing today here in the infrastructure, what stands in the way of that is the government of Cuba and their human rights abuse. So hopefully, I look forward to the day that we will not be dealing with human rights abuse, but we will be dealing with human rights enhancement. And that's what this is all about. This is about Mejora tu vida, or I call it MTV. Is that a new concept? So, Damian, I think that you're the one, the creative guy. Think about MTV. So, my last thought is, as I sit here and stand here today, is that I envision the day where we will have aquaphonics. We can rely on, let's see, I wrote it here. Aquaphonics in Cuba can rely on alternative wind energy from a tethered balloon to grow and then transport the tilapia and the herbs on electromagnetic means to Havana, fueled by gas-generated hydrogen energy, so that the people in Havana can discharge the waste through a new ocean outfall, and all monitored by SCADA system at the University of Miami at Miami. Thank you for the opportunity to share some random remarks.